here at Johnson Houses for an immigration forum with who? With Congressman Rep.Espaillat, being moderated by Johnny Rivera, and all the other elected officials here in El Barrio. Join us. We are here with a great individual that has been a Democratic operative, just like I, for many, many years, Will Smith. Brother Will, what's up?
Clark, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. It's great to see folks that have been involved in the process for so long moving up and upward and then forward as well. What are you doing these days?
Oh, well, right now I'm making it a priority and empower my community to be more civically minded and push more civic action from a legislative impact perspective. It's important that our citizens appreciate the legislative process and understand that while all politics is local, if you do not achieve legislative reform, you cannot achieve change. So I try to make sure I empower my fellow residents around those issues and try to, encourage them to organize around issues that speak to them and that issues that they know they can achieve some tangible progress.
Give us a little bit about, tell me a little bit about your resume. You've worked for elected officials in the past. Who have you worked for and what are you currently doing?
Previously, I was a community liaison in the New York State Assembly in the office of the Housing Committee Chairman. There I was focused on organizing residents in public housing and empowering them to have more of a legislative impact again. While working in the Housing Committee Chairman's office, it was important for me to talk to our residents and encourage them to attend more public hearings, submit written comments, so that way they can have a way to show their fellow residents that, hey, we took a stand officially, this is a way where we can have an impact. While incremental, it still is a step forward.
Outstanding. Everyone starts off as community grassroots activists and so forth. Tell us here in the Advocates Corner, let us break the news. Do you have any future aspirations in politics?
Oh, well, I would obviously say, the aspiration is to have an impact for my people. No particular role, I would say. When you're a change agent, you just want to achieve, progress for your people. You don't focus necessarily on a position. You focus more on what the people need, and as we go forward, whatever opportunities present themselves on behalf of our people, we'll make the proper decision moving forward.
Well, outstanding. I appreciate your answer. We didn't get a scoop, as we would love to have kind of scoop, but maybe we'll do it next time. And listen, Smith, continued success, man. You are a leader for many of those people that are looking for that mentor.
Thank you.
Continued success. Keep it up, and I'm a phone call away always.
I appreciate it, Clark. It's always a pleasure to talk to a fellow community leader, and it's important that we continue our progress in the community and continue to energize our people to achieve change, especially with the current administration we have right now. It's ever more important that we be more civically minded, have an impact in the voting booth, and empower our youth to be more active in the political process. So I look forward to working with you, working with all of our party leaders and community leaders as we push forward to achieve progress and impact in our communities every day.
You're doing a great job. Continued success. Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure.
Back to you.
This is a historical day for us, and as you all know, we have this new congressman who's really set his feet to the ground to make sure he finds out everything that's going on in this particular community. He has been talking to public housing residents, trying to find out what our issues are, and we really, really look forward to making some changes and supporting him the best that we can. So I appreciate all the attendance tonight. It's nice to see so many familiar faces, and I hope we enjoy this night.
Thank you so much. You know, when we talk about cuts and we talk about things that are going on in our community, I hear the term affordable housing, but yet I don't see any in our community. I don't see it in our community. Do you see it? I see the buildings going up. And the people who lived in those buildings before it went up, I don't see any of them moving in that building. What's going to happen? What do you think is going to happen? You better get stock in U-Haul, because there's going to be a lot of people moving out of our community. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a proven fact. If you don't own anything, you have no power. But the power that you do have, and you can't exercise, is the power to vote.
Representative for Councilman Bill Perkins, who should be here soon. I just want to welcome you. Those who don't know, Perkins is now the city council for the 9th District, no longer the senator. So if you don't know, you now know. Also, our office is open literally 24 hours a day in the State Office Building, room 729. Please, everybody is welcome. If you have issues, concerns, don't hesitate to stop by. We love you guys and always be supportive of you. Thank you.
I am really excited to be here tonight to be talking about immigration and the status, of immigration on this community. We know that we are now in a really turbulent time with this new administration, and there is an attack on poor people and people of color, but there's an even bigger attack on our immigrant communities, and we've already started to see the effects of that. We have had landlords already knocking on the doors of undocumented residents who have legal leases, who have been paying their rents, and saying you have 4 days to vacate that premises before we call immigration.
The Office of the Controller, this is Nina Saxon.
Hello everybody. I just want to say one thing. The New York City Controller, Scott Stringer's office, is going to be hosting a Shred Day event on May 18th in partnership with Congressman Rep.Espaillat, State Assemblywoman Inez Dickens, Council Member Perkins, and Harlem Advocates for Seniors. It's going to be on May 18th, and it's going to be at the Kennedy Center, 34 West, 135th Street. If you have seniors that need their stuff to be shredded, please come by. It's going to be from 12 to 3. Thank you so much.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. Rosalba here from Manhattan Borough President Gail Brewer's office. We're here every month. We're here, as always, to support you with all of your needs. I'll stay till the end if you need me. Thank you.
joined here with one of the best borough presidents ever,
Thank you, Clark.
the Honorable Gail Brewer. Ma'am, thank you so much for taking the time to join us here on the Advocates Corner with Clark Peña. What can you tell us about the immigration issues in Manhattan specifically?
Well, there are a couple issues. First of all, the Northern Manhattan Immigration Coalition, the Coalition for Immigrant Affairs. I think the main issue is the fear, obviously, for children and families. You could come home from school and your parents not be there. I've been to rallies at 26 Federal Plaza. It is very unsettling, makes you angry to know that a parent can walk into 26 Federal Plaza or anybody and not come out. So it's the fear, and then what is a sanctuary city? It's not clear.
Right.
It's not clear. So we all want schools to be off limits, senior centers, funeral parlors, community centers like here at Johnson, every place where people gather. However, the problem is that people are so nervous that they're not going to PTA meetings as parents, and they're not going to hospital visits because they're nervous. Now, children are going to school. The chancellor indicates that there's not a decrease in attendance for young people who are immigrants, but the parents are not going to the PTA meetings. So parents need to go because they should know that there is going to be no ICE in a school. So I would say it's a quiet fear that is seeping in, and it's almost more dangerous than what you read about in the papers, because you're not going to read about this in the papers. But people are missing hospital appointments, doctor's appointments, and PTA meetings.
Should they have a reason? Is it a real reason for them to be fearful at this time?
I think not. In other words, ICE is not allowed into a school unless there's an actual warrant, and same with the hospital. But it's very hard to counter. It's very hard to counter. And so we have all been doing that when we speak. The mayor's been doing it, others, but people are still fearful. And so there needs to be more outreach, knowing that you can attend, but it's hard to counter. And I think the president has done more damage in a way that is quiet than overt because of his nasty comments and the people around him. He has produced this culture of fear so that people are not getting the services that they need.
And, your office is known as one of the offices that has the most outreach ever as far as the president. So how can we reach you if someone is afraid, if someone is looking to ask questions? How can we reach your office?
Well, we have 431 West 125th Street. It's a storefront, and we've had people come in during the day. We've had lawyers there at night as part of the immigration legal community who have been phenomenal.
Excellent.
So we do this on a regular basis in the evenings, and people during the day. We can answer everyone's questions. We have immigrant specialists. We also work with the schools to say PTA meetings are taking place, you should attend. But I feel personally livid and furious at the federal government, which is supposed to be the place where you can go for some of these national issues to feel comfortable, has produced an environment that is so anti-immigrant. And we all know that New York City is great because of the immigrant community.
Absolutely. Madam Borough President, thank you so much for fighting for those that are in the shadows.
Thank you very much.
Continued success, and please, you have someone here that's fighting for our community, our immigrant community, and keep doing what you're doing. Thank you and your staff for what you do.
Thank you, Clark Peña.
Thank you. Back to you. It's been a great day today. We're here at an event awaiting Congressman Rep.Espaillat. And before we arrived here. I went to an event at One Police Plaza where Sergeant Johnny Nunez, who's an executive trainer
Executive trainer at the police academy, yes.
at the police academy, he received an award that I'll be honest with you, even I would like to have. But it's very difficult to get into that training. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, it's called the Leadership Institute. It's a 14-week program. And one of the things that a lot of people don't know as city employees, there are a lot of opportunities, educational opportunities that we often, I take it upon myself to let people know that, the department has scholarships. And this particular program is through the Department of Citywide Administrative Services. And it was great. A lot of networking, a lot of great talent that we saw. Most of the assistant commissioners from all the city agencies, Parks Department, HRA, ACS. So
Probation.
it was a very probation, the city parks, police. So valuable, great experience, and we learned a lot. We learned a lot, and hopefully the idea is to, continue in city government. And the theme was, how do you institute change in an organization? So we learned a lot of techniques. It was a very nice program.
How many years you been on the job as a police officer?
Well, they say 20 and out, but I don't know. Actually, in December will be my 20th year, and I'm pondering that decision. Having gone through this leadership training program, at least it gives you a different perspective. It gives you the tools to either consider, maybe moving within city government, perhaps to other areas. So at least, that's one of the things I always wanted to do in the department, just get the credentials so that, windows may open, and this way, if the opportunity presents itself, I'll be ready to embrace that opportunity.
Sarge, you also you're the president of an organization that does a lot of community service. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, yes, as you know, the Global Alliance of Hispanic Law Enforcement Professionals, which is a group of volunteers. Most of us are active law enforcement members, and our idea is just to serve as that bridge, the department with the community, especially today. There's a lot of misinformation out there. I think the community needs to be informed with the right information, not misinformation. A lot of the immigration issues that are coming into play, the stop, question, and frisk, all these hot button issues, I think that the press often, the community needs to hear an objective from the police officer. One of the things that we do, we actually have a seminar where we engage the community. We do role plays where the community gets to act as police officer. And I think that gives them a different perspective. It helps them understand the position of a police officer when they do patrol. And I think that's the way to go, to bridge that gap and gain the credibility of the community again.
As a Hispanic American, como un hispano es a Dominican.
Yes.
In the New York City Police Department. Are things better? Can they get better? How do you see it?
Well, just when we speak about numbers, and you mentioned Dominicans, actually Hispanics. We are in other words, the minority, we are the majority now. And particularly the Dominican community, the current class of the recruits, most of the Dominican population is the highest rate within the Hispanic community that are joining the force, and I think that's a good thing. I think also the Asian community, we're getting a lot of Asian officers involved, and I think that overall, that's going to cut through the perception that the department is a racist department, because in reality, it is reflecting the makeup of the city. The majority of the police department is Hispanics, blacks, and Asians right now. So I think that's going to go a long way in gaining that credibility with the community.
As I travel around the city, and I've seen you at work as the president of the organization, also as a community leader, do you have any aspirations to run for public office in the near future?
Well, one of the things, I'm actually a teacher, I'm a professor, I'm a mathematics teacher, and one of the things I wanted to do was to teach mathematics. I became a police officer kind of like an experiment, It was a great choice, but obviously what I mean is public service. I enjoy public service. I love serving, I love helping people, and I think that's the common theme, whether you're a teacher, whether you're a firefighter or a police officer. So it appeals to me to serve, be a public servant. So yes, perhaps, actually, everything is political, and I think that politics, people have to understand that a politician, a local city council person, can do a lot for the community, and that part appeals to me, where you have a say and you have a venue to maybe help people that need that help in the community. So I don't rule it out, Clark.
Well, you heard it here first. Sergeant Johnny Nunez, thank you so much for taking the time. Continued success. You were an excellent police officer. You were an excellent sergeant, excellent instructor, excellent organizational leader. Whatever you do next, you can do very well, and I know that.
Thank you, Clark, and thank you for covering the event. You're always out in the community, and I always see you. A community. I love the work you do because it shows. I think you do with a passion. Same thing, which is again, it's a calling. It is a calling. When we'd like to help people, and I think that's what a public servant. That should be the ultimate interest and motivation. Helping people.
Absolutely, absolutely. On that note, thank you. Thank the New York City Police Department, and thank you for joining us. Back to you. We are here with the Honorable Congressman Rep.Espaillat. Sir, thank you so much for taking the time to be here in El Barrio, but also for all the work that you do. Thank you so much. I want to ask you a quick question. A lot of people are really afraid with all this immigration talk, with the folks saying that they're going to be deported and separated from their families. Should they have a reason to worry?
Well, I think everybody should always be concerned. An ounce of caution is always necessary. But, that we have a safety net in New York City with legal services and advice for anybody that feels fear and that their or their loved ones could be taken away from them and deported. And so, every case is a different case. It has different circumstances, whether it's a deportation or family reunification, somebody that overstayed their visa. Each case is very, very particular to the family. And so we ask them to come forward to our offices, and we will refer them to the legal services that I think will provide the right answer for each and every one of them.
Absolutely, and what I really, you have a great office. You have a great team. Everyone in your office is very helpful, and I know that for those people that are really afraid about this current state of affairs in our city, they're going to get good service from your office.
Well, they should come to our office. I consider my office to be a sanctuary office where nothing would happen to anybody that comes there, and they could feel free to come in. I'm right on 125th Street in the State Office Building, 5th floor, and we will provide the services that they need.
One final question, I know you have to run. What are you fighting for as far as legislation? What are you discussing in Washington?
Well, we have several pieces of legislation. One against ghost guns. There's now a big trend to purchase disassembled weapons and then assemble them in your state and circumventing the background check that you should be subject to. So we're trying to bring those people in to also be subject to a background check. But in addition to that, I have the Camare bill for ICE agents, the sensitive locations bill for ICE agents, and a slew of other pieces of legislation that I will unveil in the future.
Outstanding. Our community is well represented by you.
Thank you.
Continued success, and thank you for your time.
Thank you, Clark. Thank you so
sir.
much.
Thank you. We are really proud of the work you did today. You were a moderator for this great event. We have here Democratic District Leader Johnny Rivera. Johnny, great job.
Great, well, thank you. It's really a work of love when you care about the community and you want the community to become knowledgeable and understand the work of the electeds, and you want the electeds to always remember what the community wants. This is something that a district leader should be doing, bringing community and elected officials together.
Absolutely. Well, district leaders, at one time, I remember back to the Freddy Aran days, they were very active. I think if I'm not mistaken, you're bringing that back.
Well, if being active means sponsoring community forums, outreaching to folks out in the streets and in night shift developments, then I'm honored because I took on this post not to have a title, but to really help people, and that's what the bottom line I'm most concerned about.
You had a full house here today. How did that make you feel?
I was surprised. I thought maybe 100, and maybe, and obviously we've exceeded that. I think we had an estimated about 150 people.
Right. Well, did a great job today. Thank you for the work that you do for our community. Continued success, and we'll catch you at the next event.
Great. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Outstanding event. They expected 100 people. They have up to 150 people that were here because the issue is immigration. People are concerned. People wanted answers. And U.S. Congressmember Rep.Espaillat delivered it. Thank you so much for being here. Hasta la próxima.